Good afternoon all. Welcome to the lecture of discrete mathematical structure. Okay, so in last lecture we have seen what? How to find out the determinant. Okay. Now screen is visible. Now we have to see how to find out the determinant of order 3. Okay. So the value of a determinant, the value of a determinant is the sum of product of elements of a row or column with their corresponding cofactors. Okay. So in last lecture we have seen how to find out the determinant of order 1. That is, the determinant of order 1 is nothing but its determinant will be the element itself, and determinant of order 2 is nothing but, if suppose this one will be a determinant of order 2, then its determinant will be a1 b2 minus of a2 b1. Now we have to see how to find out the determinant of order 3, and the determinant of order 3 is nothing but, that is, the value of this determinant is the sum of the product of elements of a row with their corresponding cofactor. Instead of row we can take column also. Okay, and there is no restriction on any row or column, that is, we take arbitrary any row and arbitrarily any column, and just if we have taken the second row, then we have to take the cofactors corresponding to second row only. Okay, so if suppose there is a matrix determinant D having entries will be a1 b1 c1, a2 b2 and c2, and a3 b3 c3, and now it is a determinant of order 3. Now if suppose we have to find out the determinant of this D, then it is nothing but, now we have to choose any arbitrary row. Suppose we have chosen first row, then it is nothing but a1 into its cofactor plus b1 into its cofactor plus c1 into its cofactor. Since determinant of order 3 is nothing but the sum of the product of elements of any row with their corresponding cofactors. Okay, so this one is so as here we have taken the first row with their corresponding cofactors. Okay, now which is nothing but a1 into, now capital A1 is the cofactor of the element A1, and cofactor of small element A1 is nothing but, first we have to find out its minor into -1 to the power I plus j, where I is nothing but the number in which the element present, that is the row in which the element present, and j is nothing but the column in which the corresponding element will be present. As here A1 is present in first row and first column, then it is nothing but -1 to the power 1 plus 1 into its minor. Its minor is nothing but, if we have to find out the minor of A1, then we have to suppress the row and column corresponding to that element. Therefore here we have to suppress the first row and first column, then the minor is nothing but b2 c2 b3 c3 plus b1. Now we have to find out the cofactor of this small b1. Now b1 is present in first row and second column, then it is nothing but -1 to the power first row plus second column, and its minor is nothing but, suppress the first row and second column, a2 c2 a3 c3, a2 c2 a3 c3 plus c1 into -1 to the power. Now c1 is present in first row and third column, first row plus third column, and its minor will be a2 b2 a3 b3 b3 b3. Now so it is nothing but a1 into -1 to the power 1 plus 1, that is 2, -1 to the power 2, which is plus 1, a1 into, and we know that how to find out the determinant of order 2, that is just multiply b2 c3 minus c2 B3. Now, minus 1 to the power 1 plus 2, minus 1 to the power 3, minus 1 to the power any odd number is again negative number. Therefore, this one is nothing minus of B1 into A2C3 minus C2A3 plus minus 1 to the power 1 plus 3, which is 4, and which is again a plus 1. So C1 into A2B3 minus B2A3. So in this way, we can find out the determinant of a order 3. And continuing in this way, we have to find out the determinant of order 4, determinant of order 5, and so on. Okay. Now, we will see some examples. First one. Find the minors and cofactors of minors and cofactors of each element of second row of the determinant and the determinant is given by 120, 151 and 37. So we have given one determinant and we have to find out the minor and cofactor of the each element of the second row, that is this row. Here we have to find out the cofactor and minors of this row. Okay, now let us find out. Let us take A be a determinant of this 120, 151, 371. Now first we will find out the minors of this second row, and from that we will find out the cofactor. Now minor of 1 is equal to minor of element 1, which is equal to, by definition of minor, we have to suppress the second row and first column, since 1 is present in second row and first column, then which is nothing but 2071, and which is equal to 2 into 1 minus 7 into 0. 2 into 1 will be 2, minus of 7 into 0 will be 0, which is equal to 2. Therefore, minor of 1 will be equal to 2. Now, minor of the second element, which is 5. Minor of 5. Similarly, we have to suppress the second row and second column. Then which is nothing but 1031, which is equal to 1 into 1 minus 3 into 0 will be 0, and which is equal to 1. Now, minor of the third element, which is 1. Minor of an element 1 is equal to, for this element, we have to suppress this row and this column. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 7, which is equal to 7 into 1, 7 minus of 2 into 3, 6. 7 minus 6 will be equal to 1. Therefore, the minors of the element 1, 5 and 1 are 2, 1 and 1 respectively. Now we have to find out the cofactors of that element. Now, cofactor of an element 1, that is first element, which is nothing but minus 1 to the power cofactor of this element, okay, which is present in second row and first column, to the power 2 plus 1, and its minor will be 2, which is nothing but minus 1 to the power 3, which is minus 1 into 2. So cofactor of 1 will be minus 2. Second, cofactor of an element 5, which is present in second row and second column, and its minor will be 1, which is equal to minus 1 to the power 2 plus 2, which is 4, which is again positive, so which is 1. Now cofactor of the last element 1, which is equal to minus 1 to the power, which is present in second row and third column, into its minor 1, which is equal to minus 1 to the power 5 minus 1, and this is 1, which is minus 1. So in this way we can find out the cofactors and the minors corresponding to any determinant. Okay, any doubt? कुणाला काही डाऊट आहे का? Now find the value of first one, 1 2 3 2 3 4 3 4 5, and second example will be 1z minus y, 1z minus y, minus z 1x, and y minus x 1. So here we have given two determinants of order 3 and we have to find out its value. So first we will solve first one. First, that is, let A be equal to determinant of this one. 1 2 3 2 3 4 3 4 5, and we know that how to find out the determinant of A, determinant of order 3. We have to choose first any row or column. So here we will choose the first row, then it is nothing but 1 into its cofactor. Its cofactor is nothing but 3 4 4 5. 3 4 4 5, that is its minor, and it is minus 1 to the power 1 plus 1, since it is present in first row and first column. Minus of 2 into the element. Now we have to suppress this one, 2 4 3 5, and lastly 3 into 2 3 3 4, 2 3 3 4, which is nothing but, now 1 into 5 into 3 15 minus 16, minus of 2 into 5 into 2 10 minus 4 into 3 12, plus 3 into 4 into 2 8 minus 3 into 3 9, which is equal to 15 minus 16 will be minus 1, minus of 2 into 10 minus 12 minus 2, plus 3 into 8 minus 9 minus 1, which is equal to minus of 1. Minus 2 into minus 2 plus 4, 3 into minus 1 minus of 3, minus 1 minus 3 minus 4 plus 4, minus 4 plus 4 get cancelled, and which is equal to 0. So A will be equal to 0. So the determinant of first example, that is its value, will be equal to 0. Now the second one, let B equal to 1z minus y, minus of z 1x, y minus x 1. Okay, so its value is nothing but, again we will choose the first row, which is 1 into 1x minus x 1 minus of z into minus zx y 1 minus of y into minus z1 y minus x. Okay, so which is nothing but 1 into 1 into 1 1 minus minus of x into x minus x square, minus of minus, so we will take after minus of z. Now minus of z into 1 minus z, x into y xy minus of xy, minus of y into minus of z into minus x plus xz minus of y, which is equal to 1 minus plus x square minus minus of z into minus of z plus z square minus z minus xy plus xyz minus of y into xz, which is minus xyz, minus y into minus y plus y square plus xyz minus xyz get cancelled, and which is equal to 1 plus x square plus y square plus z square, and which is the value of b, and b is nothing but this above determinant. Okay, so in this way we can find out the determinant of any square matrix, whatever will be its order. Now there are some properties of determinant. Okay, properties of determinant. First one, if we interchange the rows and columns of a determinant, then the value of the determinant remains unchanged. Okay. So first property says that if suppose we have any determinant of order 2 by 2, and if we interchange its rows and columns, then there is no effect on its determinant value. That is, if suppose this will be a D, and if we have taken D dash as the first row will be first column and the second row will be a second column, then this property says that there is no effect on its determinant value. Let us check whether there is effect or not. If suppose we have to find out the determinant of this first one, then it is nothing but a1 b2 minus of b1 a2. Okay, and the value of d dash is nothing but a1 into b2 minus again b1 into a2. So this property is true or correct. That is, if we interchange the whatever will be the order of given determinant, if we interchange its rows and columns, then there is no effect on its determinant value. Now the second property will be, if we interchange any two row or column of a determinant, then it changes the sign of a determinant without changing its or without altering its absolute value. Okay, so second property says that if we interchange any two row or any two column, then it changes only the sign of the determinant and there is no effect on the absolute value. For example, if suppose we have one determinant of order 2 by 2 and its determinant value will be equal to k, then after interchanging its any two row or any two column, then the new determinant has value minus of k, and if original determinant have minus k, then the second determinant will be have plus k. That is, for example, let us see, if D is a first determinant, which is A, B, C, D, then its determinant value will be AD minus BC. Now, we have to find out the D dash in which we have to interchange any two row or any two column. So here we will interchange the columns. First column, we will take first column as second and second as one. First, BD, AC. Now its determinant value will be BC minus of A into D, and which is nothing but minus of AD minus BC. Since minus of AD is minus AD, minus of minus plus BC, that is BC minus AD, and minus, which is nothing but minus of this AD minus BC is nothing but D value. So if we interchange any two row or any two column of a given determinant, then it changes only the sign of the determinant and there is no effect on the absolute value. Now third property will be, if any two rows or columns of a determinant are identical, then value of the determinant is 0. Value of the determinant is 0. Okay. For example, see, if D is a determinant having both the rows are same, then its determinant value will be AB minus of AB, which is equal to 0. And similarly for column also, if suppose D dash is AC, EC, then it is nothing but AC minus EC. So if any two rows or any two columns of a given determinant are same, then its determinant value will be 0. Fourth property will be if the elements of a row elements of a row or column of a determinant are multiplied by some scalar k by some scalar k, then value of the new determinant is scalar times the original determinant. So according to fourth property, that is, if the elements of any row or column of a determinant are multiplied by some non-zero scalar k, then value of the new determinant, which is obtained by multiplying some scalar k to any of the among the given determinant, any among row or column of the given determinant, then its determinant value will be a scalar times the original determinant. Let us see. If suppose D is a determinant having element A, B, C and D, and D dash be a determinant which is obtained by multiplying the second column of a determinant by some scalar k, that is A, KB, C, KD. Similar same method will be useful for the row also. So here we will use for the column. Okay. Now its determinant value will be AD minus BC. Now determinant value of D dash, which is equal to A into KD minus of K into BC. Let us take K common, K into AD minus BC, and which is nothing but K into AD minus BC will be the determinant value of D. Therefore, if we multiply by some scalar k to any row or column of a given determinant, then the value of the new determinant, which is obtained by multiplying that scalar k, is equal to the scalar times the value of the original determinant. This will be a scalar and this will be the value of the original determinant. And fifth property will be, if there is determinant a1 plus x1, b1 c1, a2 plus x2, b2 c2, a3 plus x3, b3 c3, then it is equal to a1 b1 c1, a2 b2 c2, a3 b3 c3 plus x1 b1 c1, x2 b2 c2 and x3 b3 c3. Okay, so this will be the fifth property. If determinant of this left hand side, it must be equal to the determinant of that right hand side. Okay, any doubt? Okay, so if there is no doubt, then we will see the next point, which is the determinant of a matrix. determinant of a matrix. Okay. For that, first we will take one matrix. Let A be a equal to Aij of order n cross n be a square matrix of order n. Of order n. Then the determinant of matrix Aij is called the determinant of a square matrix A, and which is denoted by determinant of A. So if we have any matrix A which is of order n cross, that is it will be a square matrix, then the determinant of this matrix Aij, that is each entry of the given matrix, is called the determinant of a square matrix A, and which is denoted by this symbol. Okay, now there are some types of matrices, that is singular and non-singular matrix. When we say that the corresponding matrix will be a singular, and when it is non-singular. Singular and non-singular matrix. Okay, now a square matrix of order n, a square matrix, capital A of order n is called singular if determinant of A will be equal to 0, and it is called non-singular if determinant of A is not equal to 0. Okay, so we have if suppose we have any square matrix which is of order n, then it is called singular if its determinant value will be equal to 0, and it is non-singular if its determinant value is not equal to 0. For example, first one, A is a matrix 2, 3, 4, 5, and second will be 2, 3, 4, 6. Now, if we find out the determinant of A is denoted by this symbol, which is nothing but 2, 3, 4, 5, and this determinant value is nothing but 5 into 10, 5 into 2 which is 10, minus 4 into 3 which is 12, and which is equal to minus 2, and minus 2 is not equal to 0. As minus 2 is not equal to 0, then A is a non-singular matrix. Non-singular. But for determinant of B is equal to 2, 3, 4, 6, and which is equal to 2 into 6, 12, minus 4 into 3, 12, which is 12 minus 12, 0, which implies B is a singular matrix. So in this way we will check whether the matrix will be a singular matrix or non-singular matrix. Now the next concept is the adjoint of a matrix. Matrix. Definition. Let A equal to Aij be a square matrix of order n, and Aij, capital Aij, is the cofactor of the element small aij. Okay. Then the transpose of then the transpose of matrix which is formed by the cofactors of the each element aij is called adjoint of A, which is denoted by adjoint of A. Okay. So what is the adjoint of matrix? If suppose we have one matrix A which is of order n, then first we have to find out the cofactor of the each element belonging to that matrix A, and from that we have to construct one matrix capital Aij, that is a matrix which is formed by all the cofactors of the given element of the given matrix. Then its transpose is nothing but the adjoint of a matrix A. That is, for example, if suppose A be a matrix having entries will be this one, A11, A12 up to so on A1n, A21, A22 up to so on A2n, and up to so on AN1, AN2, and up to so on ANN. So this will be a matrix A which is of order n by n. Okay. Now, if suppose we have to find out the adjoint of that matrix A. For that, first we have to find out the cofactors of the each element of a given matrix, and we have to construct one matrix from these cofactors. Then the cofactor matrix is given by, then the cofactor matrix is given by, that is we have to form the cofactor matrix, and which is nothing but this one. This first replace first element by its cofactor. Similarly for second, and up to so on A1n, A21, A22 up to so on A2n, and up to so on capital AN1, AN2, and so on ANN. So here we have constructed one matrix which is found by the cofactors of the given matrix, cofactors of the elements of the given matrix. But adjoint of A is nothing but, from the definition of A, adjoint of A is nothing but the transpose of that cofactor matrix. So now we have to take the transpose of that given matrix, and it is nothing but, now if transpose of a matrix is nothing but, just we have to replace rows by its columns. A11, A12. Make the first row as a first column up to so on A1, and similarly second row as a second column. AN1, AN2, and ANN. So this will be a adjoint of a matrix A. So in this way we can find out the adjoint of any matrix. Okay. Now there is one note. If capital A and capital B are non-singular matrices of of same order, then adjoint of matrix A into B is equal to adjoint of B into adjoint of A. Okay. So if we have two non-singular matrices, that is A and B non-singular, means determinant of A is non-zero and determinant of B is non-zero. If suppose we have the two non-singular matrices of same order, then adjoint of a matrix A into B is nothing but adjoint of a matrix B into adjoint of A. This will be first note. Second one, determinant of adjoint of a matrix A is nothing but determinant of A to the power n minus 1. That is, if A be a square matrix of order n, which is non-singular, then adjoint of a matrix A is nothing but determinant of A to the power n minus, where A is non-singular matrix of order n. Non-singular matrix of order n. Okay, and similarly, adjoint of a adjoint, that is, if suppose we have first find out the adjoint of a matrix A, and again we have taken the adjoint of that corresponding matrix adjoint of A, then which is equal to determinant of A to the power n minus 2 into A. Okay. Now, the important relation in between important relation between matrix and its adjoint, matrix and its adjoint. What is that relation? Let us see. Okay, let capital A be a square matrix of order n, and I is the unit matrix of unit matrix, that is identity matrix of order n. Then A into adjoint of A is equal to adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant of A into I. Okay, so if A be any square matrix of order n and I is the unit matrix of same order, then A into adjoint of A is equal to adjoint of A into A, which is equal to determinant of A into I. This will be an important relation in between the matrix and its adjoint, and it which is useful to which is useful to find out the inverse of a matrix. So we will define what is an inverse of a matrix. Inverse of a matrix. Let A be a square matrix of order n. Then there exists and there exists a matrix capital B of same order, that is of order n, same order, such that A into B is equal to B into A is equal to I, where I is unit matrix of order n, unit matrix of order n. Then we say that matrix B is inverse of A, and which is denoted by A inverse. Okay, so if capital A be any square matrix which is of order n, and suppose there exists one matrix B which is also of order n, such that which holds this condition, that is A into B will be equal to B into A, which is equal to I, where I is nothing but the unit matrix of order n. Then we say that this B is the inverse of a matrix A, and which is denoted by this symbol A inverse. If B is inverse of A, then A is also inverse of B. Okay. Therefore, from definition, we denote B by A inverse. Therefore, we get A into A inverse is equal to A inverse into A is equal to I. And if inverse of A exists, if inverse of A exists, then we say that the matrix A is invertible. Okay, if inverse of any matrix exists, then we say that the corresponding matrix will be a invertible matrix. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we'll study inverse of a matrix in terms of adjoint. In terms of adjoint. Okay. So we have to. There is one method which is there is a method in which we have to study how to find out the inverse of a matrix by using the adjoint of a matrix. Let us see. If suppose A is invertible, let A is an invertible matrix. As A is invertible matrix, then by definition of invertible matrix, we get A into A inverse is equal to A inverse into A, which is equal to I, which is from the definition of invertible matrix. And also we know that here we have studied one note, that is if A be a square matrix of order n, then A into adjoint of A will be equal to adjoint of A into A, which is equal to determinant of A into I. As here A is a invertible matrix, then it must be a square matrix. Then we know that A into adjoint of A is equal to adjoint of A into A, which is equal to determinant of A into I. As here the inverse of a given matrix will exist, then determinant of A must be not equal to 0, and determinant of A is nothing but some fixed value. As it is not equal to 0, then we have to divide this equation by determinant of A. Then we get A into adjoint of A divided by determinant of A, which is equal to adjoint of A divided by determinant of A into A is equal to I. Determinant of A gets cancelled. Take this one as equation 2 and this one as equation 1. So here from equation 1, A into A inverse into A, which is equal to I. And from second equation, A into adjoint of A divided by determinant of A, which is equal to adjoint of A divided by determinant of A into A, which is equal to I. Therefore, from comparing equation 1 and 2, this A inverse is nothing but, from 1 and 2, A inverse is nothing but 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. Okay, since from equation 1 and 2, A is as it is, and A inverse is nothing but adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. Similarly, A inverse is nothing but adjoint of A divided by determinant of A, and A is as it is. Therefore, from equation 1 and 2, we say that A inverse is nothing but 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. So this will be the formula to find out the inverse of any matrix. That is, if suppose we have given one square matrix A, which is of order n, then its inverse is nothing but 1 upon determinant of A. Just we have to find out the determinant value of A and into its adjoint of A, and we know that how to find out the adjoint of a matrix. Now there is one important result on the invertible matrix. See, the necessary and sufficient condition for a square matrix A to be invertible is that determinant of A is not equal to 0. Okay, so here we have to prove that the necessary and sufficient condition for any square matrix A which is of order n to be invertible is that determinant of A is not equal to 0. That is, if A is invertible matrix, then its determinant must be equal to 0. And if determinant of any matrix is not equal to 0, then the corresponding matrix A will be invertible. First, we will prove the condition is sufficient. Sorry, necessary. First, we will prove the condition is necessary. Okay. Okay. So to prove this one, let A be a square matrix. Let A be a square matrix. Any square matrix, whether it is non-singular or singular, we don't know. It is a square matrix of order n. Let A be a square matrix and B be its inverse. B be its inverse. Then by definition of inverse of a matrix, A into B is equal to B into A will be equal to I. So A into B equal to I. Now take the determinant of both the matrices. Then determinant of AB is equal to determinant of I, which is equal to determinant of A into B is nothing but determinant of A into determinant of B, and which is equal to determinant of I. Determinant of identity matrix is always 1. Okay. So now determinant of A into determinant of B is nothing but the 1. If we take determinant of A will be equal to 0, then 0 into A, anything will be 0, and which is equal to 1. It is not possible. So if we have to take, we have to make this left hand side to be 1, then determinant of A and determinant of B both are non-zero only. Then only it is possible that its product will be equal to 1. So from this we say that determinant of A is not equal to 0. So if we take any matrix A with and if it is invertible, then its determinant must be not equal to 0. So from that we say that the condition will be necessary. Now we will prove the condition is sufficient. To prove that it is sufficient, that is condition will be sufficient. Sufficient means if determinant, if we have to check whether given matrix will be invertible or not. Just we have to check whether it is not equal to its determinant is not equal to 0 or not. If its determinant is not equal to 0, then it must be invertible. So we will prove whether it is sufficient or not. Now let determinant of A is not equal to 0. We have to take determinant of A is not equal to 0, and we have to prove it is invertible. Okay. Now as determinant of A is not equal to 0, then there exists a matrix B. There exists a matrix B such that B is nothing but 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. That is, B is just an inverse of A. Now, B equal to 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of B, just multiply by A. That is matrix A. We get A into 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. So which is nothing but A into B is equal to 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of a matrix A. But again we know one result. A into adjoint of A equal to adjoint of A into A will be equal to determinant of A into I. So just put out that value, which is nothing but determinant of A into I. Since A into adjoint of matrix A is nothing but determinant of A into I. So which implies determinant of A is non-zero. We have given determinant of A will be not equal to 0. When determinant of A get cancelled, since it is a fixed value, which implies A into B is equal to I. As A into B equal to I, similarly we will prove B into A will be equal to I. So which implies AB equal to BA equal to I. Then from definition of inverse of a matrix, we say that the matrix A is a invertible matrix. So the condition will be sufficient. So if we have to check any matrix to be invertible or not, then just we have to check whether its determinant will be not equal to 0 or 0. If it is not equal to 0, then it is invertible, and if it is equal to 0, then it is not invertible. Okay. If any doubt, then please ask the questions. Otherwise, we will stop.